not a deep person, so I just asked God if he would just give me something real simple to share, and I actually thought I would share on simplicity. But as I was going about my daily business, he just dropped some words in my heart. It was real simple. And so he basically dropped in my heart a don't settle message. Just an exhortation not to settle. And he kind of gave me the story of Abraham, basically. Well, his father, who was Abram at the time, but out of Genesis. And so I reread this story, and it was about he settled there. And those are the only words that he gave me. He just gave me the words, he settled there. And so as I pondered and reread and just sat before him, he just encouraged me to look up settled and what it meant, to encourage us to go beyond that complacency point and to start reaching for more of him, for higher places. So actually I looked up the word settle in the dictionary, and I just titled this Don't Settle. Don't settle. And the word settle really means just to stay. To stay where you're at. And I thought it was interesting because it's so easy just to stay. And so anyway, I'm going to read Genesis 11:27, and I'm going to go through Genesis 12:5, if that's okay. And it's really Abram's dad's story, but it's Abram's story as well. So I'll start at Genesis 11:27. And I'm going to read it in the Amplified. Now, this is the history of the descendants of Terah. Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran was the father of Lot. Haran died before his father. Terah died in the land of his birth in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took wives. The names of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took Abram his son, Lot the son of Haran, his grandson, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, who was his son Abram's wife, and they went forth together to go from Ur of the Chaldees into the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. And Terah lived 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now in Haran the Lord said to Abram, go for yourself, for your own advantage, away from your country, from your relatives, and from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you with abundant increase of favors, and make your name famous and distinguished. And you will be a blessing, dispensing good to others. And I will bless those who bless you, and curse him who curses or uses insolent language toward you. In you will all the families and kindred of the earth be blessed, and by you they will bless themselves. So Abram departed, as the Lord had directed him. I love that part. But so really, what the words that he gave me were in Genesis 11:31. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. And actually, I pondered this. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I pondered, would it be possible that Abram's father settled there, but maybe he was supposed to go on? Would it be possible that he had a further place to go to, but he settled? It's something that I ponder. But guess what? Abram moved on. He went for it. And when he did, he was blessed. God said it. He was blessed far over and beyond, because he didn't settle. He did exactly what God said. It's so easy to settle. We just become complacent with how we are living in our everyday lives. So we just stay there. And in all honesty, I'm a person, I like daily tasks and I love routine. I like kind of to do the same things over and over. It never seems mundane to me. Daily living, just, I enjoy it, but I notice that I can get settled. It's like, this is good enough. This is far enough. I'm making enough money. This is just enough time. This is just enough. And so honestly, this word challenged me. Are we just gonna settle? Is it okay that we're just this far with God? Is it okay that we're just doing this or that? And I have to tell you honestly, it isn't. I think I was pondering this, that in the last few weeks, Donna shared the simple word about not settling, but going up higher. God was just asking, can you go up higher? A little higher. And at first I took it as almost a correctional word. You know, I need to go higher in some of these things, God, but now I see it as an exhortational word. Want to come up a little higher with me? Do you want to go a little further, or do you want to stay where you're at? And I don't want to stay where I'm at. I like where I'm at. I'm content. I don't want to say I'm not content, but I'm not there. I know there's so much more. And as we were sitting there worshiping, it was like I saw it. I saw this river, and I saw this water with lots and lots of waves, and I saw like a whitewater raft, but they have those big puffy rings around them, so when you hit the rocks, you bounce off. And it was like, do you want to go out to uncharted waters, or do you just want to stay where you are? Because you can stay where you are, and it's okay. But I don't know, I think we want to reach for more, and I think sometimes we don't know what it looks like, so we're almost afraid. It's almost like, well, I can just stay here in this place of worship, or can we go farther? Can we see more visions and dream more dreams? And I just feel like he's saying, don't settle here. It's a great place, but there's so much more. So I wrote down things that we kind of settle in. We settle in our work. We settle in our relationships. We settle in our thought lives. We settle in the words that we speak. We stop thinking big, speaking big, believing big, and dreaming big. Life has a way of swallowing us up to the point where we're existing, but are we really living full out? And I think he's been challenging me. If you're going to do something, it's like go for the gusto. It's like, why stop there when God has so much more? In worship and in the word and in our daily lives, it's like, why stop when we know there's more? And he's saying, go ahead. We settle many times on our walk with the Lord. It's as if we think he can only do things a certain way. It's like, this is how we do it, so we'll just do it that way all the time. And he's like, what if I want to do it different? Do you think it's me? Can you believe that could be me? And I thought, God, I kind of get used to you doing things a certain way, and that's just the way God is. And it's like, no. He doesn't have to do it that way the second time or the third time. He might do it totally different. And is it him? Absolutely. It's him. We box him in, and we don't even dream that maybe he's going to change some things up. Maybe he wants to do something different. Maybe he wants us to take on a spirit of adventure and go for it. He wants to breathe fresh life into us. That's what he gave me today. I was thinking today, we clean this house that we only clean once a month. And so they have these glass shelves, and glass for some reason it attracts a lot of dust. So after 4 weeks, can you even imagine? I can print my name in the dust. But I thought, nothing looks as great when the dust is laying on it. It just kind of is yucky. And I thought, sometimes we've buried some things, some dreams, some things he might have shown us a long, long time ago. And we've waited and waited and waited and thought, it'll never happen. So dust has got on there so thick that it's like we can't even see anymore that there was something bigger in there. something exciting in us because it got dirty. And I felt like today he was showing me I'm ready to breathe fresh life again on some of those things that you have put away. Where dust has come and you thought it's not going to happen. I've waited so long. I just felt like he was going to blow a fresh wind and blow off the dust. And asking us, can you take a hold of that again? Can you dream again? Will you think bigger again? Will you go for it? God is not boring or dull. That seems so silly, but I really felt like he gave that to me. We can get mundane. We can get routine. We can get methodical. But God isn't boring. He's not dull. He doesn't do everything the same way all the time. We can settle into thinking that he does. God spoke the world into existence. It didn't stop there. It didn't stop with, here it is, this is what it does, this is what we do. It's still going. It's going on and on and on. When he spoke, it was an ongoing process. Things are still happening in the universe from that spoken word that God spoke. Why would we think any differently that we should stop right where we are and we're okay? Why would we want to go on and on and on and let him do what he wants to do in us and through us? In Zechariah 9:12, he calls us prisoners of hope. And I wrote down, we can be prisoners to a whole lot of things. We can be prisoners of worry, of discouragement, of fear, of despair, of doubt and unbelief. But he calls us prisoners of hope. And hope is great expectation that God is going to do what God said he is going to do. Hope is a desire with the expectation that desire is going to be fulfilled. He would not have given us a seed or a dream if he wasn't going to do what he said. And when I looked up expectation, is to look forward to something. It's like he's saying, do you have great expectation that I am going to do great things? Are you going to stop where you are? I'm going to read this little, excerpt out of Joel Osteen's book. Zechariah 9:12 says that we should be prisoners of hope. It is so easy to give up. It is easy to get discouraged. But God wants us to be so full of hope, so full of expectancy, that we just can't help ourselves but believe the best. When you're a prisoner of something, it is like you are chained to something and you can't get away. There are people who are prisoners of fear, prisoners of worry, prisoners of doubt. You've heard them say, nothing good ever happens to me. It's never going to change. It's been too long. How many times have we heard that? We've waited so long. These people are chained to despair and discouragement, but it's time to break the chains. Become a prisoner of hope, no matter how long it takes, no matter how impossible it looks. Your attitude should be, I can't help it. I know it's going to work out. I know I'm going to overcome. It may be taking a long time, but this too shall pass. I know I'm close to my victory. I say hallelujah. Let it be today, God. Hallelujah. We need to live with great hope and great expectation because God is up to great things. Bill Johnson says that we should basically have 3 ways that we believe or pray. So I'm going to quote him. You can believe for what you have a great possibility of getting. Sometimes we'll pray for things and we actually know it's a good possibility this thing is going to be answered. what you could get, but it's probably not as probable that you will have it. I'll give you an example on that one. Like on the first one, believe for what you have a great possibility of getting. You can believe that you're going to get a raise at work. And there's a good possibility if you stick it out and do a great job, you will eventually. Then he says, believe what you could get, but it's not as probable. So you're stretching, you're believing a little bit farther. And an example is, let's say I need a new washer and dryer. Maybe someone will give me one. Or maybe someone will give me the money to buy one. You're stretching to believe for a little bit more. And then he says, believe for what you really know is truly impossible. Goes, why not? Why not pray and believe for what's really impossible?
That's right.
Because God says with men it's not possible, but with him, all things are possible. And that's Matthew 19:26. I forgot I wrote that. With men, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. Have hope, have faith, have expectation. Gilbert encouraged us over and over, and I simplified his messages to simple words. See it, you gotta see it. You gotta say it, and then you're gonna see it. It was like, see it in here. See it in your imagination. See it in your dreaming. Get a vision for it. I almost could see it like you gotta take a hold of it. You gotta take a grasp on it. I feel like, he said faith is the substance, and so if it's substance, it's something we can grab a hold of. See it that way, then say it. What are we saying? I have to tell you all week that word has it's messing with me. What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you seeing? What are you really dreaming about? What do you see? And then see it happen. I'm like, wow, God, I want to get a hold of that. You know, many times we'll say that's good enough. It's good enough. And I love stories because stories help me understand a message. I'm so glad Jesus taught in parables. He probably was thinking about me when he did, because I think stories make things come alive. And so when I hear a story, I can put the story with, yeah, there's the message. And so anyway, I told Chris this story today, so I'm going to tell it. We have a customer, because we clean homes, and we have like the best customers. I mean, God is just, I'm telling you, it's almost overwhelming. I'm so grateful. But this couple, they have a humongous, beautiful castle home because they love Scotland, and they desired to have children, and they ended up with twins. One of them is a little girl, and she has cerebral palsy. And the other's a little boy who has an autoimmune deficiency. Beautiful, beautiful children. And we love going there. Just love it. And I really believe to see that little girl walk and talk someday. And she's 4 years old, but she's not at that point yet. But anyway, I was in their bedroom dusting, and the mom came in, and she's just really precious, and she said, I need to tell you something. And I went in the room, and she had this, like this hospital bed, but it was wrapped with these bumper pads on it. By her bed, they had this humongous bed, and the little girl stays in her room because they have to really almost have constant care, because they have like a shunt in her that was installed in her brain and everything. So anyway, she goes, did you see the new bed? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And she goes, I have to tell you this story. And they have to have special equipment for this little girl, which costs thousands of dollars, and their insurance will pay for apartment on it. So So last year, they spent about $10,000 in equipment because as she's progressing to new stages, she's getting bigger. And so she needs like a bigger wheelchair and a bigger scooter. And anyway, she had gone to her husband and said, you know, she's getting bigger, and she was in a crib-like bed, but she's very tall. She goes, you know, we're gonna need this special bed for her. And their insurance will only cover so much. So he said, you know what, let's regroup from what we put out last year, and as we regroup and gain that back, then we'll go ahead and start buying her the equipment that she's going to need for the future, which is a couple new pieces. And she said, you're right, that's fine, we can make do with what we have. So last weekend she went to Target in South County. She said, I just needed a few things, and her mother went with her with their little girl. She said, let's take her out, let's go ahead and take a ride. It was a nice day, so they took her to Target with them. And her mom was proceeding to walk this little girl around in her special stroller. A lady sees her mom with her, and she goes, I'm grabbing my items as quick as I could because I'm on limited borrowed time here, you know. And this other woman walks up to the mom who has the little girl, and she said, does she have cerebral palsy? And the mother said, yes, she does. And she said, I have a son who is handicapped also, who is, I guess he's about 7 years old. I didn't catch the age because she was kind of starting to cry as she told me this story. And the lady said, I live in Columbia, Illinois, I don't live very far. And she goes, do you happen to know if she needs a special bed for her? And the mom goes, stay right there. I'm gonna call her. Called her on the phone. She said, you need to come over here. There's this woman who has come up to me and is talking to me and has something she wants to ask you. She said, I ran over to my mom. She goes, what on earth is going on? And she said, I have a special bed for a handicapped child. My son has now outgrown this bed. It was fully paid for by my insurance company. And I want to give it to somebody. I've been asking, who can I give this bed to? And I've been waiting to give this bed away. And she said, I see that you have this little girl. Would there be any way you would take this special bed for your little girl? And she said, can you come over tomorrow and pick it up? She goes, I'd love to have you to my home. And she went and picked up the bed
Praise God.
for this little girl. And it was brand new.
Praise
She
God.
said, Debbie, that bed is thousands and thousands of dollars, fully padded with 4 sets of sheets that had never been used. And she looked at me and she was starting to cry.
Woo! Ah!
And she said, I don't believe this was luck.
That's
And I don't believe this was coincidence. She said, I believe this was God who knew exactly what we needed.
Of course. No doubt there.
And the lady said to her, come back at the end of the summer because I have a special wheelchair. And I know my little boy will be done using it, but I want you to have it. And she was, that's the next,
Oh, hallelujah.
that's the next wheelchair we would need.
He's so good.
I'm sorry to cry.
Those are good, good tears.
have shared it before, but I felt to share it once again. I had a picture one day while I was worshiping and I could see Jesus. He was way out in the water. I love the ocean. I'm not a great swimmer. My family will tell you I kind of sink to the bottom, so more like an anchor than a swimmer. I still love going to the beach. I love the sun and the water, and I just love the peace. I thought there was no one who could have made this but God. It's just so beautiful. But anyway, I was worshiping, and he gave me this picture of him, and he was way, way out in the ocean. You know, like sometimes you'll get those sandbars things, and when you stand on them, even though you're way out there, the water's still shallow, which is so cool to me. But anyway, he was way out there, and he had a smile on his face, and all these people were standing on the beach, just enjoying the sun and looking at the water. But he was like beckoning us, come on out. Like your family will do, even though you don't want to go out because you're a little bit scared. So anyway, I saw him beckoning us to come out, and I thought, well, I'm going to go, you know. And so I went in a little till it was around my ankles, and I was kind of waiting, thinking, well, where's the rest of them? And so I thought, well, I'm going to go a little further because he was just saying, come on out, the water is great out here. And so I kept going, and I went to ankle deep and then knee deep and was going deeper. But I would look, like as I got to the deeper waters, I would turn around and look, and I was like, I wish the rest of them would join me, you know. And I kept looking back, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm just going to keep going out further. And he was like around the shoulder deep area, so I pressed out further. And I was like, Lord, what about everybody else? And I wanted them to join me. I wanted them to come out to deeper waters, but some didn't want to go. And he showed me there's only some that will stay on the shoreline, and there'll be some that will go ankle deep, and some will go knee deep, and some will go waist deep, and some will go shoulder deep, and then some are just going to plunge in. And he goes, I love all of them, but my heart would be for them to go ahead and come out where it's deeper. And it really touched me because I could see the love on his face. I knew he loved everyone right where they were, but it was a decision. We could settle in that place where we had gone and think this is deep enough, or we could go out farther. And actually, I hope that I'm one of those who plunges, who'll just go way past, even shoulder deep in him. I felt like he was just telling us, come on out. Come on out. The water's great. And even as we were worshiping and I saw that raft, I kept hearing the words uncharted waters. There'll be a spirit of adventure. And you know what? When he breathes on us and those things come alive again, we do have more of an adventure. Yeah. We do have more of a gusto. Let's go for it, spirit. And I think this word he gave me was just, let's go for it. Let's not settle. Let's not be where the ruts in the road are, that we have to stay in those ruts and think we can never ever get out. He wants us out of there, or we will be complacent. You know, he's challenging us. Do you want to be mediocre? And I have to tell you, I don't want to be. My answer is no. I don't want to be mediocre. I want more. And I think it's okay to want more. I know that for years we've heard this prosperity message and thought we don't want that. You know, it's way too beyond. But I think when Donna challenged us to come up higher, when God was challenging us, and when Gilbert was challenging us about what we see and what we say, I began to think there's so much more that we don't attain. There's so much more out there. It's almost like we're afraid to ask anymore. I got to where I'm afraid to ask. Is this too materialistic? But I thought, no. He's saying there is more. How much do you want it? Are you willing to settle in your work, in your finances, in your home, with your family, in relationships? worship, I'm going to worship. And it's not going to matter what anybody thinks. I have got to go far. And if I'm going to live for you, then I'm going to either live full out or I'm not going to do it at all. Because I cannot stand the thought that I would have eked by in life and missed out. When he says there is so much more. And when Gilbert said so many people don't fulfill their destiny, I have to tell you, that makes me cry. I don't want to do 90%, I want it all. It's like the whole hog thing. I'm going to go whole hog or not do it at all. And it's as if we've gotten to the point where it's, okay, this is how we do church, and this is how we live life, and it's not okay anymore. It's not how I want to live. It's just not how I want to live. And if he gives me more, I want to give more. And if he requires more, I want to do it. I just don't want to say I lived an average life. To me, that would be missing the boat. I just don't want to say it's okay to live and just do. You know what? I do a mundane job, but it's not mundane to me. I know that I'm ministering to people. And I know when I'm in their house, the presence of God comes. And I know that lives are being changed as mundane as every day that it seems. I know. And I thought if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all out or I'm going to quit doing it. I told God that if I'm going to do this, God, I'm doing it 110%. And then the day you tell me I'm done, I'll lay it down. I'm just not going to barely do it. I'm going to do this knowing full well that I'm worshiping you every moment that I do it. And I think that's the challenge. I think that's what he was trying to say tonight in a very simple form. Will you be a prisoner of hope? Will you have great expectation? And today I thought the sky is the limit. But actually beyond that's probably the limit. There is no limit to God. His resources are unlimited. His plans for us are way out there. So let's not stay here and think this is it. Let's grab a hold of life with gusto and go for it. Let's dream big. Let's think big. Let's imagine big. Let the breath of life that God breathes on us blow away the cobwebs and the dust. And let him breathe new life in us once again. Yes. To take every day and say, what is it you want for me today, God? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. And I am going to live out my destiny and fulfill my purpose. Yes. I am going to see the things you want me to see and say the things you want me to say. And then I'm going to see them in this realm. So God, I am asking you, God, to help us imagine big, to dream big, to live big, to live life to its fullest. I thank you, God, that we can grab a hold of this simple exhortation. Make us prisoners of hope and expectation. And let us grab on, God, and let us go the next leg of the journey, God. Give us a spirit of adventure. Let us be shocked, awed, and amazed by all that you want to do in us, to us, and through us. God, let us dream big. Surprise us, God, and overwhelm us, God, like I know that you want to do. And I thank you, God, that every one of us, every seed planted in our heart, that you've tucked away in there, God, as you breathe and blow on it, that the dust is gone, and that we begin to live and dream again. Live and dream again, God, like you would ask us to do, Father. And that we will fulfill our destinies. I decree it, God. We will fulfill our destinies, God. All that you have for us, all that you have planned, all the great things you have planned for us, God, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, God, and we're going to cross the finish line with a smile on our face, God, knowing full well that we lived full out for you, God, and settled for nothing less. We didn't settle, but we pressed on for all that you had, God. And we're going to go for the gold. God, we don't want to be satisfied with the bronze or the silver, but we're going to go for the gold. Thank you, Father. We honor you and praise you, God, and ask you to seal this exhortation in our hearts, Father, in the name of Yeshua. And I say amen.